Welcome today. Hope you're going well. Hope you're having a Merry Christmas. We were just thinking through, because we looked through all our equipment and realised that we have a lot of King's gear. I didn't realise we had bought so much King's gear. An obvious question for that, well then, is it any good? And we take some of our King's gear in some pretty tough scenarios. In the salt water out and around those islands for days on days, it's hard work on the equipment. And the question I started to ask myself after looking at all the King's gear we've got, is it any good? So let's have a look, you and me together. Is our King's gear any good? We need to remember though, with people who bring stuff in from China, China is a huge place, huge. We have no understanding of how big they are and how big business is in Australia. There's warehouses and workshops everywhere making everything. And what's very difficult is when you import equipment from China, is that 1 week you could get an order from a factory that's perfect and get 1,000 widgets and sell those, and 2 weeks later make the same order, but in that time they found out to save 20% on the zips of the widget, and it's far less of quality, but they don't care because they've just saved 20% on the zip. So to get consistency out of China is very, very difficult. And what lots of manufacturers in Australia who do import stuff is they'll have a person on the ground in China who looks after their quality control, and they then say, well, that's our factory. So stuff out of China is very difficult to get consistency in because of the dog-eat-dog style of production that they do over there. So it's not always easy, but you get significantly reduced equipment back in Australia or back in the country that you're selling it or reselling it. So if you can make your peace that not everything's going to be perfect, but you'll save all this money, then it's worth doing. Now, another thing to consider is the stuff that we've bought from King's, and as I've said, we've bought quite a bit, has actually worked out all right. But when I'm buying a hot pot to put on the oven or in the fire, a cook oven, quality doesn't really matter as long as it doesn't leak because it's cooking on the fire, so it's okay. But if I had a $100,000 caravan and a $100,000 tow rig and I was going to the middle of Australia, I would probably buy a top spec winch rather than a cheap winch from a cheap manufacturer, because the consequences of failure are so much higher than they are on a swag or on a camp oven. So you've got to be smart as to how much you're going to use it for. Again, quite a bit of gear from King's, as you know, and we've been going through bits of it to what do we think of it. Now, again, we've got a solar panel on the roof. Now the solar panel, it's a fixed panel, it's been really good. When we got the solar panel, we've got a fixed one and we've also got a fold-up one. The fixed one stays on the roof. The fold-up one we take out onto the islands because it's very light and easy, and it works okay, it really does. The disappointing thing, to run that you need a solar charge controller, which we have in the car here, and they come separately. The ones from King's, they're not good. We've taken 2 back because of the dodgy wiring, but I will point out, and I need to point out, that both times King's replaced it instantly. No questions, no nothing, just replaced it. So the case there where they were not great, dodgy out of the factory, the after sales service from King's was very, very good. We got 2 brand new ones straight away, no questions, done. The fixed solar panel works well. We've got a inverter in here as well. Haven't used it a lot, but we've had it 12 months and it's going fine. It works quite well. We've got the battery box with a King's battery. They were relatively cheap when we bought them. Have heard of people having issues around it. Thus far, I can only say it's been good for us. And I need to point out, this battery box with the fold-up solar panel, we chuck in the boat and we take out east onto the islands for 3 and 4 days at a time in the sand, very rugged conditions, and they've been okay. Had no problems. Been going for a couple of years. Not sure what to say to you other than they're going, and they have worked for us. We do give it a good clean when we get back and trying to maintain the equipment well, but it goes good. For the money, it's awesome. We bought the Titan drawer system. Great practicality. Some of the bolts and screws that have been used are not the right sizes and they're dodgy, and we've had to replace all of those. A bit painful, but after we fixed that, replaced it, it's going great. We've got our fridge. Our fridge here we've now had for 2 years, run it all the time off the solar, and it has never ever missed a beat. It's been fantastic. We've got it nice and cold now, so we might be We've got it all nice and cold now, and if we have a look in there, we have got some very cold water. Oh, that's nice. It's hot up here today. Here you go, Leanne, have a cold water. We might give out some other cold water and see whether other people like our King's cold water.
Nice cold water. Must be out of a King's fridge.
Refreshing.
Now, we've also bought a King's oven roaster. What's that called, Leanne?
Camp oven.
So we've also bought a camp oven from King's. It's worked fantastically, no dramas, but it's just a bit of cast iron that you put in a fire. Cheap, works great, don't know what else to say, it worked. We've bought fire grills, cooking grills to put over the fire, again, worked great. We have bought a fire pit, works great. But you don't really have high expectations of that stuff, do you? And it works, and it was substantially cheaper than from anywhere else. Another thing that we bought from King's is this. Another thing we bought is our King's cutlery kit. Now, look, to be fair, plates are fine, cups are fine, the other stuff in there's fine, but the cutlery is
Not there because we replaced it.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, the cutlery in it is not this because we had to replace it all.
No, that's the blue one.
This is the King's one?
Yeah, the blue is
Okay, right.
King's.
So, the cutlery in the set, not great. To be fair, two fingers. And this cutlery was dreadful, in fact. Dreadful. So, we just bought some cheap cutlery from Big W, put it in, and our kit is now complete. Plates, cups, they're plates, they're cups. The bag itself is really handy, really good. So we just had to adapt that to suit us. What else have we? Now, the other thing that we bought is we bought a gazebo from King's, and when we looked around that time, and there was others available, similar pricing, but we actually found and thought, and we've had quite a few of these gazebos, that the quality of the canvas on top, or the whatever it's called, was far superior, particularly for if it rained. And I've got to tell you, for all the stuff we've ever bought from King's, that gazebo is pretty good. And we've run that thing ragged. We've had on the roof for big trips up in the Daintree. We've carted out in the boat on islands, set up in sand, storms, everything, and it goes great. It's probably #1 thing we've ever bought from King's has been the gazebo. In addition to that, we bought the hub that sits off the side of the gazebo, like it connects into the gazebo, and it's a round tent. Terrible. The first day, within 25 seconds, we had ripped 3 of the tent pin mats. We had ripped 3 of the tent peg holes where you put the pegs into the ground. And it wasn't windy, it was just dreadful. But we figured out how to work around that, and we just peg straight through the floor now, and it serves its purpose, but that was not good. If we used it a lot more often, I would replace that with a far superior quality. It was dreadful, but it was cheap, and when we use it, which is not often, it serves a purpose. We bought 2 swags from the place, from King's. We've bought a single swag, which is this one, and we've bought a double swag. Now, we've camped in those many nights all over all over North Queensland, right up Fairway North, and out on a lot of the islands out from Mackay here. And the single swag has performed beautifully, and the double swag is just as good. We have found them to be very good. I understand some people have got wet in their swags. I can only tell you what we've found, we have not. We have been through some pretty torrential weather, and if you have all your zips done up properly and all your leaflets hanging over the edges properly, we've never got wet, they're never leaked. And I must say that we've been pretty hard on our swags. They've bounced around in boats and cars and on the roof of the car. They've been out on the islands 40-50 k's out to sea. Never let us down. Swags have been pretty good. Again, if I was going to sleep 365 days a year in the swag, you may pay a little bit extra money to get something a bit better. For what we use it for, these swags have been amazing. This single swag, I think we got this for $99. I mean, you can't go wrong with $99. Next, We also bought this beautiful toolbox. From there, it's got everything in it. And I've got to say, I've been around cars and bikes and motorbikes and boats all my life. The quality of tool is not bad. It does what we need it to do. It was very helpful when we lost the wheel off the boat trailer that time. It had everything that we needed and it worked fine. But I'm not rebuilding motors with it. It's just to help us out on the road or out in the islands in our boat for minuscule breakdowns that we want to fix on the way. If I wanted to rebuild a brand new motor for my new Monaro, which I don't have, but if I did, I would have to probably get better tools. But for what it is, $79, it's been really good. Okay. Conclusion, what's our final verdict? What would we say about our Kings gear that we've bought and we've used? And I can only give you our opinions and our experience, which doesn't cover everybody, I understand that, but it's what we've found and that's all I can give to you. If you buy Kings gear, if you can do it with the understanding that some of it will be rubbish and some of it will be really good and some of it will be in between and some of it you will need to just adjust slightly, it's great. You need to pick your use, what you're going to use it for. Like our swags, we put them up, we sleep. There's not a lot to it. They work great. The gazebo works great. If you wanted to buy a winch, for instance, and travel Australia towing your big boat, and you're going through some pretty dreadful places up far north, you may want to buy a better quality winch for that particular use. You get what you pay for. Poor man pays twice. But if you can make your peace with some stuff from Kings is not so good, and some of it's great, it's brilliant. It's far superior, cheaper than most of the stuff on the market, and it does tend to last 70 to 80% of the time. You will find avenues where it does let you down, but because it was so cheap, you just go buy another one. Now, the one thing that I would say to you about the Kings gear is our experience, Leanne and I, has been that their after service with stuff that's no good has been very, very good. Can't complain. They've replaced everything that hasn't been up to spec for us. We have no association with Kings. They wouldn't even know who we are. We're just some small punters who buy some of their gear, and we think it's pretty good. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments what you think. Let us know your experiences of what you've been with Kings. Signing off. Thanks for coming. Please consider subscribing to our channel. That helps us a lot. Have a great day.